Hello and welcome back. So today what I'd like to do is show you how we make super smart coffee here at the Super Smart Guy headquarters. Actually, this isn't coffee, this is, hi, I'm down here, I'm up there, but I want the machine, the espresso machine, to be in frame during the filming of this demonstration, so you'll have to just deal with my Don't Panic t-shirt. Okay, this is a Breville espresso machine and it does multiple functions. We are going to grind our coffee from beans. Beans go up here in the hopper. We already have some beans in there. We'll turn the machine on. That sound was priming the pump because there's a water tank in back and it will be used to push steam through the grinds to make the coffee here, and then it'll also be used to produce steam to froth the milk. So what I like to do, take it from the top, I like to make like a mocha. So I'm going to create a 2-shot espresso here, and then I'm going to let it drip into the cup. And then I'm going to froth 8 ounces of organic milk. If you can get grass-fed milk, even better. Please write to me and let me know where you found it, because I want to get grass-fed everything, free-range everything, if possible. And then, let's see, can you see it? Right here, the secret ingredient. We have a packet of Swiss Miss hot chocolate powder. To me, this is the best. This is the dark chocolate sensation. It's the double dark chocolate, it's not the regular. And by the way, this is one of the few that still offer sugar. There's no sucrose, sucralose, fructose, galactose, galactic, evil emperor, empire going on in here. This is sugar, cocoa powder, and some other stuff. I have to be honest, I did try. Swiss Miss actually made like just cocoa, sugar, and pretty much that was it. And it didn't taste as good. There's some kind of secret ingredient that Swiss Miss is holding out on. They're not telling us what goes into it, but it definitely tastes. I think there's also milk solids in here. Whatever it is, as long as you get hot chocolate powder that does not have saccharin, NutraSweet, stevia. I don't like those sweeteners. This to me comes out great. So what we do is we tear this open and we're just going to leave it here for when I froth the milk. I'm going to pour this in and stir it up. And that is ready. Okay, step 1, don't laugh because I'm going to get up in your face here to create the grinds. So here's a setting for how much, more or less. I have it set to slightly less than the midpoint, and then I have it set for a double shot. So I'm going to get a double shot of grinds going into this puck. Now the problem is it overflows and I lose these precious grinds. So I have to tamp it down with this, just the handle of a spoon is the perfect little tamper for this process. By the way, I'm using Dunkin' Donuts whole beans. By far, in my opinion, they're the best. I've tried a few different beans, like 8 o'clock, they're okay, not great. I tried Starbucks. Starbucks burns everything. I don't know why, but every single Starbucks anything I've had, whether they're the K-Cups or their beans, or their coffee that's grinded up, it tastes burnt. I don't know why, but I like the McDonald's. McDonald's, no. I tried McDonald's K-Cups, they suck too. Dunkin' Donuts K-Cups suck. However, the Dunkin' Donuts whole beans are absolutely delicious, but that's what we use here, whole beans. So, I know this is funny, but here we go. You just push this in and it's going to activate a button in the back which starts the grinding process. It's preset to grind 2 espresso shots worth. I can set the button here between 1, a single shot, but I do the double shot because I am addicted to caffeine and I need the double shot for flavor purposes as well as caffeine. So we're grinding the beans, tamping down the grounds. I don't want them to overflow and get wasted. Hope that I didn't waste too much here. Alright. let's see how this came out. By the way, the tamper that's actually used in the process here, that is held magnetically in the machine, which I think is awesome. So we pull this out, and lo and behold, if I'm really careful with this, I'm going to scoop it in. Let me see if I can demonstrate this. I happen to have some paper here. I'll do this on camera. Usually I do this over the sink, but I want to do this on camera for you so you can see what's going on. Now, because I'm an OCD engineer, I don't want to waste any of that, even though it's like a billionth of a cent of grounds. But more so, I hate waste, just period, I hate waste. And looks like we got it all. Now what we do is we put it here, because it's got to rest on a surface that's stable, and we press. Always making sure that we're getting those precious beans in there. Now we got to lean into it really hard, hoping that the thing doesn't go flying off the counter, making a stinking mess everywhere. All right, I think, got to press this down good, because if you don't get a good press on it, what happens, that's good, all right. Yeah, you got to really lean into this. If you don't get a good press, I'll put this to the side and I just dust off the grinds so that the puck is clean when I return it here. I don't want grinds carrying over because they're going to be stale. I want fresh. All right, here we go. And I like to wipe. See, I'm wiping the grinds off. This makes a seal in the machine, and if you don't make the good seal, you're going to waste. The steam will flow through it, around it instead of through. Okay, so now I have the puck in there, the handle, whatever this thing's called, I forget, I should have looked it up. That's how much I prep for my videos. All right, but at least it's real, it's organic. Now we're ready to make the coffee, the espresso part of it. However, right before I do that, kill the prisoner. But wait, interrogate him first. So what I like to do here is sort of a joke, I guess. If you prep the steam. So this was the biggest mistake I made. By the way, I cleaned the spoon off and I put it in here for mixing, so it's nothing wasted. When I first got this machine, so you're gonna laugh. When I first got this machine, I would turn the thing on, its steam would be coming out, and then I'd stick it in the milk. Milk would splash. I'd get pissed off. You're like, what? And then I finally read the directions, and I saw it on a YouTube video because I'm too lazy to read directions. And it said, so you generate the steam, and when the steam is flowing, you turn it off for just a second. Switch these things, turn the steam back on. The milk doesn't go sucking up the tube. It's all fine. The steam just continues. It works great. You'll see it because I'm going to demonstrate it. But right now we're priming the pump and then we're generating steam. So you can see first it's water that spits out. Ah, here's the steam. By the way, I'm going to warn you, this is going to make a hideous screeching noise. But the reason why I'm not going to skip it or mute it is because I want you to watch the process. This is how I know when it's done. The screech is going to go from loud, ear-piercing screech down to a low rumble. When it's at a low rumble, that means the milk is full of air from the steam, and the air is actually absorbing the sound. It's so wicked cool. I figured that on my own. I'm so smart. See that? There's the switch. And the steam kept flowing just a tiny bit. So I dumped this out in the sink. So we're going to use it to purge any possible milk remaining in the steam wand after this process. So now we're frothing the milk. Don't worry, this screech will go away soon. Frothing the milk, it's really a neat process. God, I hate that sound. I usually walk away from the machine when this is going on. Yeah, go away, stop. Thank you. Frothing the milk, it heats it up. Now, I wouldn't consider this sterile because I think you need to boil something for like 10 minutes at a boil to make it considered sterile, because this is just warming it up. It will be hot as hell. It'll approach the boiling point. When it does hit, one time I left this in for too long, it boiled over. You know, the bubbles, you know you're boiling when you see lots of bubbles. the steam, like right now, because the screech went away, that means there's little air pockets in here. Can I touch it? Oh, it's getting warm. It's not burning you yet, but I wouldn't want to hold it in my hand. So it's bringing it up from, was it 30 degrees in the refrigerator? That's what the milk starts off as. Brings it up to a boiling point. And we pull it just as the entire thing begins to boil. Because the milk starts off at this level, and literally it rises up to here because the air creates more volume. And it gets a little water in there too. Then it'll settle back down a little bit. This takes the longest. This is what you hear when you go to like Starbucks and you have them do it for you. You hear that beautiful sound. Oh, coffee is coming. Oh, my espresso is coming. Oh, I can't wait. But don't panic. Don't panic because yes, I work out. Actually, I haven't worked out. Look at that, making a muscle, making a muscle, making a muscle. I haven't worked out a couple days. Been busy, gotta hit the gym again, the home gym. Notice the temperature. Well, you can't notice the temperature, but you can notice the sound is getting lower. It's going like from screech to That means that there's lots of air absorbing that sound from the steam wand. And I can see, I don't know if you can see, I don't want to move the camera now. It's a pain in the butt to put back on the exact spot. A lot of bubbles. So turn this off. See, making sure there's still steam coming out when I pull it, that means milk didn't get sucked up back in. Because I think what will happen is, right at the end, it'll stop and it'll go whoop, a little bit will go back. I try and keep this free from milk because it'll get up in there, but I also like to purge it. So right now I'm flushing the system to make doubly sure we don't get any milk in there. Keeps it clean and fresh and safe. Alright, that's sufficient because we flushed the system with a good amount of water. I would say that's a couple tablespoons worth of water. Now, we're in frame. Okay, so I take the frothed milk, which it's a creamy texture, and oh, it tastes great. It's amazing. I never really realized how important texture was to food, and still I think I'm becoming a foodie because now I care about texture. You know, you hate stale potato chips, right? That's because of texture. Wow, I can feel the steam coming off of this. This gets hot. It reaches the boiling point. I just pull it just as it reaches the boiling point. All right, now we're going to make our espresso. The double shot, you notice there's the double shot here, but it goes into the same cup. All right, here we go. 2 shot and go. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep mixing my frothed milk and hot chocolate powder. Now it's a solution. Make sure all the hot chocolate is dissolved. All right, you see the pressure here? You got to really zoom in on that. Midpoint in the gray means I'm getting the right pressure. Problem is, if we get too little pressure, then the water's just going whoosh right through it. If we get too much pressure, then it's really having a hard time getting through, and that has to do with how the flavor is extracted from the grounds. That's the difference between coffee and espresso. Coffee is just hot water poured over coarse grounds. And I can actually grind. There's an adjustment here for coarseness. I can actually adjust it to do coffee grind coarseness, but I have it set to fine for espresso. So with espresso, because the grinds are like powder, it's like a dust almost. It's very fine. It's much smaller particles than coffee. And then you push it down and it's really just, it's hard to get water through that. If I poured water in it, it would just puddle up on top and sit there. So this machine pushes steam through under pressure. And that's how we get this. So I'm going to pour this on camera so you can see what it looks like. And that white stuff is, I forget the name of that, it's very important. It's part of the flavor. Not froth, it's something else. Put it in the notes. Alright, so there's the espresso. And then of course always put water in this right away because you don't want to get dry. Clean as you go. You save yourself a butt ton of work. So I mix this. Then I pour the rest of the milk in. I don't make the little tree or flower or whatever because I just care about how it tastes. I don't care about how it looks. And it tastes freaking delicious. All right, rinsing as we go, off camera, sorry. Part of the process, I'm talking you through it. Especially the cup that has the milk in it. I want to make sure that gets clean right away. So I just rinse, I'll scrub it later. All right. This is too hot to drink right now. So I'm gonna wait for a second. In the meantime, I shut the machine off. I take this out. I use the spoon. It's used for a third time. The grinds come out into the garbage can, and I need the spoon to dig them out because it's like a solid puck. It's like a little hockey puck of coffee grinds. And then, yes, rinse, clean as you go. Rinse off the spoon, rinse off the handle here, get the filter out. Make sure your water temperature is cool because this thing is hot. That steam that forces through is hot. It will burn you if you don't use cool. And then I like to force some water through the filter. It's a double-walled filter. If you Google about how you make espresso, I think Brevia has a video. There's a couple of stores online and brick and mortar stores that have YouTube videos that review these machines and they'll talk about it. It's really cool. I tried the single wall. Here, let's get back in frame. I tried the single wall and with dismal results. I just let it air dry right here on top of the machine and I'm done. But, so this is a double-walled filter. It has a bunch of little holes in this side and it has one hole in this side. So all the delicious extracted coffee espresso flavor goes through here and out this one hole into this machine where it pours out to the double shot. This thing makes an amateur like me make delicious espresso. So the single wall, check this out. Here's the single wall double shot. All these little holes, but they're all these little holes are just, and there's only one wall of metal here. The espresso flies through this so fast, it's pretty awful. I mean, so and in here, here's the double wall for a single shot. I've never used this because I like the double shot. And then here's a single wall for the single shot. Double wall, single shot. See how much smaller that is? So you can tell there's a big difference. This is the single versus the double, and it is a single wall. So there you go. There's nothing but like sheet metal with holes poked through it. That's what makes it a single wall. Okay, so this goes in a little storage bin right in here, which is kind of nifty, and I have to rinse this out. So once I rinse this out, I'll do that later. I don't have to bore you with the detail. I fill this cup with water all the way to the top. I put it in here and I let it soak because this milk here is dried onto the froth wand. It's a pain in the butt. It's just, you let it soak, then you take for an hour, minimum of 1 hour, but I just walk away and let the water do the job. Then take a paper towel, go, whoop, done. It's amazing how easy it is once you let it soak. Like if you've got a dirty dish, you bake something in the oven that's on there really hard, let it soak overnight and poof. Okay, well this concludes the demonstration. Now the tasting. This is still super hot. I can only sip it very, very rudely because I've got to slurp it because it's so hot. Oh, damn, this is good. I wish you guys, here, take a taste. Take a taste. This is delicious. So I use organic milk. I use whole milk. Don't use 1%, 2%. Just use whole milk. But if you're using organic, at least it's a baby step in the right direction. If you're 1 cup of this a day, and I only do this on the weekends. I don't do this when I'm at work because I don't have this machine at work and I don't wake up early enough to put the time into it. You might say, geez, Keith, you put so much time into it. Why? It's not worth the trouble. Believe it or not, this is worth the trouble. I enjoy this. And let me explain why. Because it's just the product is delicious, and when I get it, so I'd like to take a moment here. I'd like to take a moment here. I want to face the camera to show you two of the principles that I've taught in my podcast, Super Smart Guy Podcast. You can find me on Stitcher and iTunes. You can also go to the website, www.supersmartguy.com, and I'm going to be posting more videos on YouTube. So I'm going to demonstrate two of the principles that I'm teaching in my course that I haven't published yet. One is systematize to save time. So I walked through this and I discussed it with you slowly because you're seeing this for the first time. I whizzed through this in 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, and I'm done. And everything's cleaned up and put back. And I'm sitting there outside by the pool, sipping my delicious concoction here, loving it. I guess you could also put in some, what's that, coffee liqueur or amaretto, you know. There's a Lady Godiva liqueur. Oh, that stuff's good. But it's not enough to give you a buzz, but it really adds a nice flavor. So if you guys like an Irish coffee or something, I digress. Getting back to systematizing. That's why you love me. Systematizing makes things go quicker. So I've done this process a lot of times. Okay, now I know what the process is because I've done it several times. You have to put the initial work in. There's no shortcuts, there's no getting around it. However, once you've put in the work and you understand how you can clean this tray rapidly, I just run water in it, dump it upside down, wipe it top, bottom, put it back. It takes me 20 seconds to do that. Froth wand. I put the water in the cup, let it sit. That takes me 10 seconds to do that. And an hour later I come back and I'm doing what, reading, watching TV, working on my computer for the hour. Sometimes I do it the next day. It can sit for 24 hours. And wipe, dump the water, rinse the cup, done. 10 seconds, okay? So because I've done this so many times, I know exactly what to do, and I go boom, boom, boom. Now, if you own a business, if you're scaling up a franchise, a business, an enterprise, what you do is you systematize all of your activities. You document them, then you produce a video like this. Now, if I was to be producing a video that was for like training in a corporation, I would, this is for entertainment purposes, by the way, but if I'm not a professional coffee connoisseur or manufacturer, so, disclaimer, I'm not a professional. Don't try this at home. I do try this at home. This is delicious. But what I would do is I do a couple takes on video, and then I would make it such that when you watch it once or twice, you get it, you get the streamlined version. I might explain it the first time, then the second time I might be, boom, this is your daily production. From A to Z, done. And so systematizing will take these tasks that you do all the time. You want to shrink the amount of time it takes to do the task. This is why Henry Ford was innovative with his production line, right? He had certain people doing the same activity over and over again, and they perfected it. The whole thing was a system. It went from a hand-built, one person does the whole thing by hand, to everyone knows their task, their activity, and you put in raw materials at one end, and what comes out the other end? A car. He was the master of systematizing. So that is systematizing in a nutshell. And number two, the other topic I want to discuss is, let's say, so this does take 10 minutes. Let's say a Keurig machine takes 45 seconds. The Keurig machine does not taste nearly as good as this. By the way, this is still probably too hot. It's getting ready. I'm going to cut this video short soon so I can drink my concoction. But this is sort of like a ritual. Now, I don't believe in rituals for the sake of ritual. However, anything that you work hard at doing, you feel like it's a more rewarding experience. So if a kid is given a car on his or her 18th birthday, they're like, oh, this is sweet, thank you. And they appreciate it to an extent. Now, if the kid worked all through high school, earning money, saving money, and at the end of 4 years of working, the kid goes out and buys the car. Huge, big difference here. That kid is going to park in the ding-free zone, way in the cheap seats in the parking lot to make sure nobody bumps it. He's going to wash and wax that car like every day. They treat things differently. When you work hard and earn it, you appreciate it more. So a ritual sort of formalizes a process. Now, I don't consider this a ritual. I don't chant. I don't have the incense burning before and after I do this. But what I'm saying is just the process of doing anything. Doing something is worth doing well if you're going to spend the time and do it. So Keurig machine versus this, some people might say subtle difference. I say it's a big difference. Maybe part of it's psychosomatic, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take the psychosomatic. If I can trick myself into thinking this is much more delicious than the Keurig, hey, It's the package, you know? Who cares? If a placebo makes you feel better, does it matter if it was a placebo, right? Anyhow, so when I say make it into a ritual, what I mean is take pride, you know, accept the work, consider it an honor and a privilege. Like for example, so I injured my elbow and I haven't been able to work out as much. I'm just starting to get back into working out again, and it sucks, and I miss the working out. To me, working out is an honor and a privilege, because look at the people who like don't have an arm. They lost it in the Gulf War or something, or the disease or something. You know, they don't have a leg, they can't run. When I go out running, I thank God every day. I'm not even religious, but I thank God every day when I run, because I have 2 healthy legs to run on, right? And I have that ability. So appreciate the ability to do something. I know this is Zen woo-woo, but you know what? Maybe this is lesson number 3. Just take time out of your day to appreciate the things you have. Gratitude. They say that you can't be depressed and feel gratitude at the same time. I mean, maybe it's possible, but it's super difficult. Feel gratitude. Just practice feeling gratitude on a daily basis, and you will live a healthier, more stress-free, and happier life. And I'm going to live a happy 15 minutes drinking my mocha choca grande espresso latte grate-tude. All right, thanks for watching.